What happens when an unaccused spends years of their life behind the bars, without any hope for freedom? Well, for one, everything becomes desolate and meaningless. However, when justice finally arrives, it is emotional, heartbreaking, and overwhelming to watch. Here are some top moments when justice was finally delivered. Number 1. John Bunn was hardly 14 years old when he was arrested for murder and convicted for 27 years in prison. John spent 16 years of his life behind jail bars and 11 on parole due to the wrongdoings of NYPD detective Louis Scarcella. After so many years of dilemma, Bunn was finally declared innocent and set free. After the judgments, Bunn was seen tightly hugging and embracing his lawyers, while totally filled with emotions. Eventually, Bunn was free from the guilt and the crime that he never committed. Number 2. David Ranta was arrested and convicted for 37.5 years for murder in Brooklyn, New York. Ranta was arrested by NYPD's dark detective Louis Scarcella. A witness under pressure from Scarcella pointed to Ranta as the shooter, while in the original scenario, Ranta was never physically present at the crime scene. After a series of endless trials and almost 2 decades later, the former witness accepted his false testimony in the case. Ranta was declared free with an apology from the judge on behalf of the state. After the trial, Ranta was embraced by his family members and was seen leaving the courtroom as a free man. Moreover, Ranta left with all his belongings on his back. Even though money can't undo his years of pain, but in a settlement, Ranta received a compensation of $2 million from the state and $6.4 million from New York City. Number 3. Susan Mellon was about to take her daughter to McDonald's for a Happy Meal, but before that, she was arrested by Los Angeles police. Susan was 42 when she was charged and convicted for her ex-boyfriend's murder. Susan was convicted on the mere testimony of an informant who claimed that Susan confessed to killing her ex-boyfriend once. Susan spent 17 years in prison before the informant turned out to be a proven pathological liar, an unreliable witness during court trials. Soon, this overturned the whole case and she was released from prison. After the verdict, Susan was in tears and was seen jumping all around. Susan took her daughter for a Happy Meal to fulfill her long-awaiting promise. She was awarded a settlement of $4 million from California State and $12 million from the Los Angeles City Council after release. Number 4. Luis Vargas was only 29 when charged with 3 sexual assaults and was convicted for 55 years for crimes he never did. The verdict was concluded on the similarities police found between the crimes. Luis served 16 years in prison until the California Innocence Project came into the picture and allowed a retrial of the case. The DNA evidence was tested from one of the victim's bodies and clothing and then tested for a match with Luis. However, the DNA samples were not matched, proving the innocence of Luis Vargas. The court declared Luis free of the charges. Furthermore, in an old tape, Luis's mother could be seen asking for a big hamburger to eat together when he gets out of the prison as a wish. After the order, he received almost $100,000 from the state in compensation. Even though it cannot compensate for justice, it sure did help Luis fulfill her mother's wish and more. Number 5. When Ricky Jackson was arrested for a murder he never committed, he was an 18-year-old young boy from Cleveland, Ohio. He was sentenced to death by an electric chair in court trials based on a witness who was a 12-year-old kid then. Later, Rick's death sentence was converted to life imprisonment. After nearly 40 years, Eddie Vernon, the police witness, came forward in court and took back his words. He confessed that he never saw the murder happening and was pressured by police to testify against Rick Jackson. At that moment, the charges were dropped off Rick. The judge marked his independence from prison with a quote about victory. After 39 years, Rick Jackson was released from the cage into the open air. He received $1 million from the state as compensation and $2.5 million for loss of income. Number 6. Kristen Lobato stayed behind the bars for 16 years for a crime she never committed. The 18-year-old Kristen was charged for a cruel murder of a homeless man in Las Vegas. During her first trial, she was charged with murder, while her second trial found her guilty of volunteering in a manslaughter, which ended her court sentence in prison for a total of 13 to 40 years. After 16 years of false justice, new evidence emerged in court which confirmed the actual time and date of the man's death and proved that Kristen, the convict, was 3 hours away from the scene with her family and cannot possibly be present at the crime place. After release, Kristen Lobato was seen happily chased by the media cameras. Later, she filed a lawsuit against the state. If you loved watching this video, then let us know your thoughts about it in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.